Lakaya Sakshur Militan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Namo Mahavarinyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratrise Namaha Vanchakalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Today is the last day of the 3 days of observing the sannyas-lila from Sriman Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we were on the 3rd day reading. We had the sannyas ceremony yesterday, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, newly dressed in red robes, embraced his guru. This is from the Golden Volcano of Divine Love by Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakṣak, Srila Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj. And both of them began to dance, chanting the name of Krishna. After some time, the meaning of the name was given. Jai, Gurudev, Jai, Guru. After some time, the meaning of the name was given. Keshava Bharati Mahārāj said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya means that you arouse Krishna consciousness throughout the entire world. You have descended to make all people Krishna conscious. So the most suitable name for you cannot but be Sri Krishna Chaitanya. An ocean of despair. Mahaprabhu was very cheerful, thinking, I'm going to relieve so many souls from their eternal misery and affliction. I have promised to deliver the whole world from this ocean of misery and take them to the nectarian world, and now I'm going to accept that task. He was cheerful, but everyone around him was diving in the ocean of despair and sorrow. Some scholars stress that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas from Keshava Bharati, who was a Mayavadi, an impersonalist. But although Keshava Bharati may have externally showed himself in that way, it is seen that by coming in connection with Mahaprabhu, he became a devotee. Otherwise, we may also think that he was a devotee who came in the garb of an impersonalist, to help the preaching of Mahaprabhu by assisting him with the social formality of taking sannyas. At that time, all over India, Mayavadi sannyasis had greater recognition than Vaishnava sannyasi, and Keshava Bharati was already situated in that post. Mahaprabhu took the garb of a sannyasi from him for his own purpose, to help his preaching activity. All these things may be explained in different ways. In any case, after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Keshava Bharati began to sing and dance with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He joined in Sankirtan and was immediately converted. The Krishna conception, union in separation. In this way, the sannyas of Nimai Pandit took place. What is the meaning of his sannyas? Is it redundant, auxiliary, or a necessary part of spiritual advancement? Is it desirable? Although apparently undesirable, still it has its necessity. In the Krishna conception of theism, there is a deep-rooted correlation between union with the Lord and separation from Him. Without separation, union cannot be deep-rooted. The pain of separation can enter into the depth of the heart, much more than cheerfulness. So, Guru Maharaj explained that in pain, in separation from the Lord, in the heart, that's much deeper than, say, union or happiness or being together. So the separation makes the togetherness more deep, because the separation, the pain is, the suffering is so deep felt in the heart. Pain is more deep felt in the heart than happiness. Right? Clear? Such apprehension increases our satisfaction. The greater our want, the greater our satisfaction. This is especially true in love affairs. If there is no necessity of a thing, it has no value. This principle is found everywhere. A glass of water is ordinary, but according to the degree of its necessity, its value will increase. So the degree of necessity is most important. Necessity means separation. Necessity independent of fulfillment is separation, hunger. Like a glass of water, right? When we receive that, it is good, it's nice. But a glass of water in the desert, right, is more useful, is more necessary. That's that comparison. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas so that the residents of Navadvip would be drawn into this high stage of separation through affectionate force. His older mother, Sachi-Devi, was crying hopelessly. His young wife, Vishnupriya Devi, was helplessly passing her days. Mahaprabhu took sannyas to create excitement, piercing into the hearts of the people the divine love that he came to give. So, to stress that point, that what we experience here via the senses, that is in a lower plane. But what we experience in the other realm via the soul and the heart, in the path of surrender and service, that is much higher. That is much high. Is a much higher divine enjoyment. Srila Guru Maharaj calls it. It's happiness, enjoyment, but it is divine. So the aspect of selfishness cannot enter into service or into surrender. So that nastiness of it's for me and I want to enjoy, I want to exploit my environment or people, that cannot be in surrender and selflessness, abnegation, service. The nasty thing cannot enter if it's done in the right mood. Mahaprabhu took sannyas to create excitement, piercing into the hearts of the people the divine love that he came to give. They thought, who was Nimai Pandit? What great benefit did he come to give us? That he left everything made them sympathetic towards him. And for all these reasons, the Lord went to take sannyas, because they were a bit familiar with Mahaprabhu when he was in Navadvip. Oh, that's our neighbor, that's our friend. He's a bit naughty, he's now a scholar. You know, they were very familiar with him. But that was not the reason Mahaprabhu came for. He didn't want to give them that nice familiar friendship. Not that. They were even, sometimes maybe a bit offensive, could be. And so Mahaprabhu wanted to cut that out, and that's why he took sannyas. Maybe hard, and you cannot do then such familiarity. Srila Govinda Maharaj said sometimes, familiarity breeds content. It means then certain false things come in, not nice, not respectful, not they miss the opportunity to hear something from somebody who might say very important things, but because he's so familiar, he's so close with them, they don't. It's not so it doesn't give such a deep impression in them. A great tragedy. We must return back to Godhead, back to home. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, your home is a beautiful land. You must strive for that. Why are you always troubled with the horrors of war, epidemic, earthquake, undesirable disease, stealing, dacoiting, and fighting with so many neighbors? At the bottom of all this is the fact that you have identified yourself with this material world and this body of flesh and blood. You have to retrace your path and go back to your home. That is what is necessary. Our homeland is such a lovely and beautiful and divine place. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas is all for us. And it is for the purpose of taking us back home, where we can have home comforts, home sweetness. If we have any home consciousness within, then we must appreciate such a proposal. Home sweet home, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas is apparently very cruel to his devotees and to his family members. But it was meant only to take us to our home, to work out the ecstasy of union. It was necessary for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show separation from his devotees and relatives. Separation and union are mutually helpful. Mahaprabhu's sannyas, his renunciation, is a great tragedy of separation. Jai Sri Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sannyas-lila ki jai. Jai, Śrīla Gurudev, ki jai, Śrīla Gurudev, ki jai. Then we're reading from Loving Search for the Lost Servant by Om Vishnupad, Srila Bhakti, Rakṣak, Srila Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj, and we are in the last chapter. Page 97. The service of Sri Radha. Once the Diwan of Bharatpur had come on a pilgrimage with his family to the holiest of places, Sri Radhakund, the holy lake of Srimati Radharani. He and his family were circumambulating Radhakund. They would fall flat on the ground, offering obeisances, lying down with their arms outstretched. Every time they bowed down in this way, they would mark the spot where their fingertips touched the earth. Then they would slowly rise, step forward to where that spot had been marked, and again fell flat, offering their obeisances with great respect and adoration. Do you know what that means? So they were circumambulating Radhakund, like on a parikrama, like in Radhakund, Vrindavan, and then they would make full dandavat. Yeah. Then their fingertips would mark the spot. They put a stone, and from that point they again make dandavat. Yeah. So dandavat, dandavat around all Radhakund. In this way, they were circumambulating the entire Radhakund. Upon seeing such intense worship, Paramananda Prabhu, an intimate disciple of our Guru Mahārāj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, intimated to Prabhupada that the Diwan and his family must have great respect for Radharani to circumambulate the Radhakund in such a fashion. At that time, Prabhupada said, their angle of vision towards Radhakund and Radharani is different from ours. They recognize and revere Krishna, and because Radharani is Krishna's favorite, they also have some reverence for Radhakund. But our vision is just the opposite. Our concern is with Radharani, and only because she wants Krishna do we have any connection with him. And only because she wants Krishna do we have any connection with him. And so, you understand? Yeah. So the Gaudiya Vaishnavas know only Radharani. They are concerned only with her and her duties, her necessities. They are ready to serve her in all respects and cannot contemplate any service without her. That is the highest achievement of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. That is the special feature of Mahaprabhu's party, and that was announced by Raghunath Das Goswami in his Vilapa Kusumanjali. So it is the service, the inclination to always be in a service mood. What can I do? How can I help? How can I make everything better, cleaner, more beautiful, more nice? That is the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. While others maybe say, oh Krishna, we worship, we adore Krishna, we worship Krishna. He's, what do you say?
Directly.
Yeah, directly. And yeah, in that way.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's by surrender. It's by surrender and service. That are the two things that make us qualified, aspiring qualified for to be in Gaudiya Vaishnavism under the guidance of the Guru in that Sri Rupa Nuga line. This verse is a direct prayer to Radharani. It expresses a particular type of hope which is so sweet and reassuring that it is compared with an unlimited ocean of nectar. He says, there is a hope which is sustaining me and nurturing my existence. Here again, nurture. With that hope, I am somehow passing my days, dragging my life through these tedious times. That nectarian ocean of hope is attracting me and keeping me alive. But my patience has reached its end. I cannot endure it any longer. I cannot wait anymore. He was already very old, Raghunath Das Goswami, serving, being there, Radha Kund. Already very old. At this moment, if you do not show your grace to me, I am finished. I shall lose my prospect forever. I shall have no desire to continue my life. It will all be useless. Without your grace, I cannot stand to live another moment. And Vrindavan, which is even dearer to me than my life itself, I'm disgusted with it. It is painful. It is always pinching me. And what to speak of anything else? I'm even disgusted with Krishna. He's asking Radharani for help. He's even saying this for us understandable. I'm even disgusted with Krishna. It is shameful to utter such words, but I cannot have no love even for Krishna, unless and until you take me within your confidential camp of service. This is the prayer of Raghunath Das Goswami. Very, very high. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada would begin to explain this verse, his figure would become transformed. He would become full of emotion. His face would become like that of a phantom. Phantom means like a ghost. Yeah. In this verse, Raghunath Das Goswami, taking an extreme risk, says, O Radha, if I do not get your favor, I do not want anything. I want you and you alone. To have an independent relationship with anyone else, eliminating you, is impossible in my life. You must be first, and then others. Without you, we can never even think of a separate relationship with Krishna. So even all these others who say, I have a relationship with Krishna, direct what you say, it's not, cannot. What you gonna do then? It is through service, through surrender, through the grace of the higher personalities in that spiritual, in that higher world. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has written that without Radharani's companion, Krishna is not beautiful. Everything is relative, dependent. A teacher depends on the student, and the student depends on his teacher. Although Krishna is the enjoyer, he is completely dependent on the enjoyed. There's only one enjoyer. That's why when we want to enjoy in the material world, there is a reaction, because there's only one enjoyer, and that is Krishna. We are the ones who are being enjoyed. The two are correlative. One cannot be separate from the other. As the enjoyed, Radharani is also absolute dependent on Krishna, the enjoyer. Radharani says, "My fate is lost forever because I've given myself. I've sold myself to many places. When I heard the flute, I dedicated myself to the song of the flute. When I heard the name of Krishna, I dedicated myself to that sound. And when I saw a beautiful picture of Krishna, I wholly dedicated myself to that picture. So in 3 places, I have sold myself completely, with no possibility of any happiness or peace in my life. If I had dedicated myself to only one thing, there might have been a possibility of peace. But because I have dedicated myself in 3 different places, I am hopeless. Seeing the picture of Krishna, I couldn't contain myself. I couldn't but give myself to that beautiful figure, and so I dedicated myself fully. The name of Krishna also purchased me fully, and the sweet sound from the flute, that has also drawn me to the extreme of dedication. So how can I hope for peace in my life? It is impossible. My friends, Radharani did not know it at that time, but the source of Krishna's flute, his name and his beauty I won. If she could not have seen how all 3 of these meet together, then it would have been possible for her to have peace of mind. But it is difficult to understand this principle." Okay, we stop here for today. Jai. Loving search for the lost servant, the service of Sri Radha ki Jai. Jai. Śrīla Guru Mahārāj ki Jai. Śrīla Gurudev ki Jai. Shall we? Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chanda. Dala Dala Siva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Lakuna. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dosara Guna. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki jai. Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣak Śrīla Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki jai. Bhagavan Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Sri Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Sabhashada Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sabhashada Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Sri Radha Gopinath Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Kiri Govardhan ki jai. Sri Navadvip Dham ki jai. Sri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. Jai Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Ganga Yamuna Chu ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Oh glories to the assembled devotees ki jai. Oh glories to the world devotees ki jai. Go Kartos ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaur Prema